Welcome, Purdue fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for today's Purdue report. Jake Dunn's reaction to the Boilermakers' 43-27 loss to Illinois. Welcome, Jake.
Hey, thanks for having me as always.
Before we get to the game, I do want to mention to the listeners that later today we will have part 2 of our high school football scoreboard show. That's usually on Saturday, but it was my birthday and my wife surprised me, so I didn't get it up on Saturday. It will be out on Sunday. We talked a lot of Boone County and Grant County football, a lot of CIC. Also, we'll have our Colts reaction after they play the Raiders today, and we will be talking Major League Baseball tonight, right after the Mariners and Tigers game ends. So lots going on the Central Indiana Sports Report. As always, go subscribe. All right. First thing I want to say, Jake, is I think we got ourselves a bit of a team. There are definitely some weaknesses, don't get me wrong. But I think we got ourselves a team because we definitely have ourselves a quarterback. And I think the two ways you can tell most about how good a coach is just by watching the game is, did the team come ready to play? Did they have a game plan? And do they make good in-game adjustments? And I'll tell you what, this is at least the third game in a row Purdue came into a game just ready to go.
And even when they got down to, I feel like they still showed, a good amount of fight. So, I completely agree with you there. I think Ryan Brown's been, just about as good as you can ask for from him. And Barry Odom has showed that he's a guy that can compete at Purdue.
The game plan was just that offensive game plan to start the contest. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. It looked like they knew exactly how Illinois was going to respond, and they did whatever they wanted on that first drive. You can do that for a drive or two. You have to have a good team to do it for the whole game. And clearly, this is still not a very good team. A defense is pretty weak. If they don't get pressure on the quarterback, that is not a good defense.
I think we've seen the same story just for the past 3 weeks. The offense has looked, okay, if not good. And the defense just looked terrible. So Purdue's now dropped 3 straight, 2-3 overall, 0-2 in the Big Ten. The last time Purdue won an away road game, which is where we'll go to Minnesota next. Last time they won an away Purdue game, Jeff Brown was still the coach. And that was 3 or 4 years ago now. So
that's right.
It's been a while. Still got a lot in front of them. I think have a good chance to win some more games here this month.
Yes.
But I hope that fans keep the optimism that they had after the 2-0 start against Ball State and Southern Illinois. So I think this team here is again capable of winning some games, and I just hope that they don't have flashbacks from last year and give up a little too early.
And this to me, just watching game to game, seems nothing like last year. This team has been competitive with pretty good teams in USC and Illinois. They haven't threatened to win those games, but play to play, they look like a team that belongs on the field with those programs, and that was not the case last year.
Yeah, exactly.
And take away the second quarter yesterday, they probably win that game. That was just a dreadful quarter.
27 points scored in the second quarter alone. That was just an absolute killer. You can't really recover from that. And I think that really started when Michael Jackson III had that fumble. It seemed like the momentum just flipped instantly. Altmyer.
They did whatever they wanted that entire quarter, and that fumble, man. And it looked, when he fumbled it, I thought, well, he was down. And they went back and replayed it. He was not down. And then Illinois did what they did all day and took advantage and scored on the next play.
Immediately after that fumble, Luke Altmyer hit Hank Beatty for a 62-yard touchdown. And from there, the floodgates kind of just opened. So this team, you can't expect to beat yourself and also win. So Purdue's not good enough to survive these self-inflicted wounds that they've kind of inflicted on themselves here the past few games. The play on Saturday proved that.
I think the bottom line is that their offense is good enough to compete with most of the Big Ten. Their defense isn't good enough to compete with any of it unless, again, I think there were maybe two failed drives by Illinois yesterday, and both of those, it was when they were able to get to the quarterback.
And I know Tony Grimes, he's one of the star secondary pieces for Purdue. I know he was out, but I still don't know if he.
Secondary looked awful.
I don't know how early the staff expected Tony Grimes to be out, but it just looked like the backups weren't really prepared for the games. Yeah, I don't know what went wrong there. Don't know if it's communication or didn't understand the scheme well or what, but the secondary was awful, and it was more than just missing Tony Grimes. It was just as a whole, the defense just wasn't very good, as we've seen repeatedly this year.
You have against the run too. They just got gashed. Illinois could have run all over them if they wanted to, and there wasn't much Illinois, or there was not much the Boilermakers could do to stop it.
This is the third straight game that Purdue's allowed 43 or more points and 500 plus yards. USC is a pretty good offense. Notre Dame is a good offense. Illinois, for the most part, is pretty good offense.
Good offense.
I know they've played some good teams, but still, 43 points and 500 yards. I mean, it's not very good. Luke Altmaier averaged 20 and a half yards per completion. So that means either the receivers are getting downfield, pretty easily, not getting a lot of pressure, or Purdue's just not tackling very well. So it's probably a combination of both. But
the good news is Minnesota's offense isn't very good, and that might be a chance to show that maybe it's because, again, and those are honestly three of the best offenses in the country. So now you got Minnesota coming in. Their last couple of games have not been able to score themselves, including against Cal, which isn't that good of a team. I think the offense has been good enough. Let's go ahead and talk about Antonio Harris. Had a heck of a game yesterday.
41-yard touchdown run. He's got 69 yards on 4 carries for the day. So, yeah, thought he was really good. Thought him and Maccabee did pretty well in the pass blocking game. I feel like it's early in the season, a place where they weren't necessarily great at, but I feel like the more the season progresses, the better they get at helping with the pass block. So the line, as we know, isn't it's not great, but it's nice to have some running backs who aren't afraid to step in there and hold a block.
I thought the line was quite good yesterday. I know Brown got some pressure. He got sacked a couple of times. I thought the offensive line, there were times in the game I felt like they were pretty much handling the defensive line from Illinois.
I know Illinois doesn't have the best defensive line. I think we talked in the preview. They're like 14th in the Big Ten with yards per game or sacks, something like that. I can't remember the exact stat, but they're not a great offensive line. So yeah, they're not a great defensive line. So the offensive line, they probably had a little better day than the past couple of games, but Purdue did
well too. I thought they had Illinois' defense figured out in a lot of the games, and I think I need to point this out, Jake. They had a chance to really get back in the game in the third quarter until that pump fumble. That game might have turned out a little different.
And to your point about the offensive line, obviously they were doing something right because Purdue ran for 151 yards, which is the most since week 2. So they're obviously opening up some holes there, and the running backs are able to hit it. But Ryan Brown, I know we've kind of already talked about him a little bit. He was 30 for 50, 302 yards and 2 total touchdowns, no interceptions. So that's something that in the past has kind of hurt him against USC in particular. So it's good to see no interceptions from him.
So ran for 22 yards and a score, and had a couple of really key runs.
He's got a knack for turning those kind of messed up plays into touchdowns. We saw that trick play against USC that he somehow turned into a touchdown, and then they're in the end zone and they kind of had a fumbled snap. He picked it up and scored a touchdown. He's got a knack for turning those broken plays into touchdowns, which is something that you want from your quarterback. So he's continued to impress me. So I think he's a guy you can build around. It seems like every game we've talked about the receivers being good. They or for this game they had a few drop passes that I feel like they probably could have caught pretty easily. So I guess this is kind of the first game I've been a little disappointed in the receiving core, but five games into the season now, and this is the first time that I've been disappointed with them. I think I'll take that. When you compare it to last year.
And even you say you're disappointed in them, their top three receivers had 240 yards combined or something. You can see how good that they can be. That's for sure.
And something I feel like we'd be remiss to not point out is the correlation between Taylor Swift dropping an album and Purdue losing a football game. I believe Purdue's now 0-10 in the same weekend that Taylor Swift drops an album. So I think we can thank Taylor Swift for the Purdue loss against Illinois.
Taylor Swift, you need to retire.
Yeah.
No more albums. Just, you've made enough music. Just tour on what you've got the rest of your life, and you'll be fine.
Maybe Purdue can start winning some more football games, but this makes it 12 straight losses against Power 4 opponents dating back to last season. So,
and 10 straight Big Ten losses, and that's going to come to an end next week. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They're beating the Gophers.
I hope so. I think going into this game, I don't know if I was just sucking myself up or what, but I really thought Purdue had a chance. And again, if a couple things go differently, Purdue's got a good chance to win. But I was really hoping that they could beat Illinois here. I think that it'd be a great momentum booster into the rest of the month. But I think Minnesota is one we gotta defense gotta sharpen up, and one that we really need to compete and just be competitive throughout the whole game.
By the way, according to ESPN Analytics, Purdue has between 36 and 37% chance to win their next three games.
Wow. Okay. I
don't know how they're getting that. I have not seen much from Northwestern that would make me think that they're any better than Purdue. I've not seen anything from Minnesota that tells me they're any better than Purdue. I've not seen anything from Rutgers that tells me they're any better than Purdue. We've seen now Purdue 3 weeks in a row against quality opponents, and we've seen a lot of good things.
I think it's a little bit better than the 36 or 37% chance to win those games. But coming up to Minnesota, I know we're not shooting for a bowl anymore. I think we needed to beat USC or Illinois to even think about a bowl. You gotta win these ones against your kind of peer programs.
That's right. It's a good way of putting it. Peer programs. Yeah.
In order to win those games here coming up in October, Purdue we got to limit the turnovers. Obviously, we got to get some turnovers on defense. It's something that Purdue hasn't. Still only have one turnover through 5 games, which obviously it's not a very good stat. Got to limit the explosive plays. In this game, there was 9 passes for over 15 yards and 4 runs for over 10 yards. So got to limit those explosive plays. Penalties, Purdue had 8 for 64 yards. So early in the season, Purdue was one of the least penalized teams in the country. Over the past 3 games, they've lost their discipline there. And they've obviously got to get some pressure on the quarterback. It's something we've been kind of saying all year. Something that Purdue's kind of struggled with. But
if they don't, they have no chance. That's the bottom line is, if they don't get pressure, and look, maybe if your players aren't good enough, you got to scheme up some pressure. And the defensive backs are getting gashed anyway. So bringing another guy into pressure isn't going to probably change that.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to scheme it up if they can't, because that's, again, with that defensive backfield and the way teams are able to run on them, that's really their only hope is to get to the quarterback. And I think as they showed yesterday, they can sometimes.
We're certainly not asking for perfection. That's never going to come to fruition, but we're just looking for progress. That's what fans are looking for. And the offense has shown a lot of progress throughout the season, but from the defense, might have seen a little bit of progress in some areas, but it seems like every week we're talking about how the defense isn't good and how we need to plug some holes there. So defensive line going to need a lot of investment there in the portal or in high school recruiting. The same thing with the secondary. So I know I know those are kind of some of the more expensive areas for team building in the NIL era. I have confidence that they've been doing their due diligence and players who may be hitting the portal and in the high school ranks as well. So I think they know that they need to be willing to maybe spend some money in some of those key areas.
We're saving our expectations for perfection for the basketball season. That leads me to let everybody know that Jake and I will be doing the Purdue Report on Wednesday. On the Purdue Report, we talk football and basketball. Then we'll be back on Friday to preview the Minnesota game, and then we will react to it. Thank you so much, Jake. And thank you so much for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a Purdue fan in your life and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.